So hollow candlesticks, the superior candle. Now, in this video, we want to do a deep dive into what hollow candlesticks are and how they can benefit you and your trading. I think it's actually really beneficial when you make the switch from, let's say, a line graph, where a lot of people will come over from when they start getting introduced to stocks, to trading. You'll start with something along this line, where you'll just watch a line going up or going down. You'll see it on CNBC, you see it on Google when you type in a stock, and you start here for the most part. However, over time, you start to realize that there are different chart patterns, there are different types of candlesticks that can help you. Now, for example, here is the regular candlestick chart. This is the most basic form of a candlestick chart. Now, the chart we want to dive deeper into is hollow candles and why this chart is actually more superior than the regular candle chart. Okay, so we are on the Webull platform looking at hollow candles up on the top left of our charting feature. We will leave a link in the pinned comment and description box to get access to Webull if you want to follow along with the exact same broker. They're also going to give you guys some free stocks when you sign up and deposit into your account in the process if you want to take advantage of that as well. It's kind of a win-win. So this is a free platform to use as well, so there's no fees. We're using the desktop platform here in this video. Now, we are currently looking at Apple stock, and we're going to dive into this in just 1 second, but what I want to do first is I want to go to Investopedia. And this is like a bigger, easier, I guess, kind of written out way to go about it. I'm not going to read this off, obviously, but it's a good resource if you want to go to Investopedia and read a little bit deeper. If my talking and explanation right on the chart isn't enough. Now, I'm going to hopefully make this as easy as possible to understand, because not only are we going to talk it through and explain what these candles mean, we're also going to visually be able to see it live on a chart, for example, Apple. So hopefully that is the best way to learn this stuff. I think that's really how you want to go about it. You want to look at this live and not just on some page with some snapshots. But on a traditional candle, right, what you need to understand is that they're just solid colors. There's a green candle, there's a red candle, and that's it. Now on a hollow candle chart, there'll be candles that are green that are hollow, green that are solid, red that are solid, and then red that are hollow. So you're going to kind of see a bunch of different things. Now, what does that mean? Well, you need to understand the best way to go about this and understand how hollow candles work is not even think about the colors. Just understand what hollow versus solid means. That's the biggest difference that you need to understand. A hollow candle, whether it's green or it's red, means that from the open of that candle to the close of that candle, which is a given time frame on the chart, and we'll show you guys what we're using, the stock was up. The open is indicated by the bottom of that candle on a hollow candle, and the close indicated by the top of that candle in terms of the body. What this guy right here is, this is the wick. These are the wicks to the upside and the downside. That's going to indicate the price action during the day, the extended range up or down, above and below the open and the close. That's all that really is. The body is what we're talking about when it comes to the open and the close. So the open would be down here on a hollow candle, the close will be up here. Now, this could also be a red hollow candle as well. The only difference between a green and a red hollow candle is the difference in the closing price from the prior day. So a green hollow candle means that from the open of that candle to the close, the stock was up. But it also means from the close of this candle compared to the prior candle's close, the stock is also up. Now, a red hollow candle, the difference in a red hollow candle is that you're going to see the same thing. From the open to the close, the stock made moves to the upside. However, the candle is still red because the close ends up not being as high as the prior day close. This is indicated many times by a gap down in the pre-market or the after hours from one day to the next, a gap down, and then a move back up to regain some of that ground, but still closing lower where it closed the prior day. Moving myself up here, so now a solid candle, okay, in this case is a red solid candle. A solid candle, all you have to know is that it means that the price action from the open to the close was down. So the open of a solid candle will be the top of the body, and the close of a solid candle will be the bottom of a body. Now here we have a red solid candle. What does that mean? It means the close of this candle was lower than the close of the prior candle, okay? Now, if this was a green candle, this would mean that the price action intraday or intra-candle was down, right? So if it was a green solid candle, we'd see that the stock would open up here and it would close here. This would just be a green candle. Why would it be green? It would be green because the candle would still close. The closing price of that candle would still be higher than the closing price of the prior candle. That's all. Again, this could be indicated by a gap up and then a move back down intraday, however, still finishing higher than the prior day or the prior candle. That's really what it comes down to. That is simply it when you're looking at hollow candles. That's what you need to know. Now let's go apply it. So here we are on the Apple chart. Now, okay, great. We understand what these candles mean. Now, why is it useful? And we'll get some examples of both, the solid reds, solid greens, hollow reds, hollow greens, or we'll get all of that here. But why is it useful? Because it's going to tell you more to the story, right? So obviously we're looking at Apple stock right here, and we can see, how Apple's been doing the past couple of weeks, right? Apple's been making a pretty substantial move to the upside, okay? We go back here to the beginning of June and to where we're at right now, early July. Apple is seemingly going up every day. Now, it's not up every day, but Apple seemingly is going up every single day, and it looks really, really strong. In this period, we see a lot of hollow greens. That just means the stock was up because it was a green candle compared to the prior day. And at the same time, it also means that price action from the open to the close was in the positive direction. It was up. We are currently looking at the 1 year, 1 day chart by the bottom of the screen right here. This is just showing us each candle is 1 day. Solid candles are actually a lot more useful on a chart like the daily chart. Why is that? It's because we're not able to see what happens on the 1 year, 1 day. We're not able to see what happens in the after hours or in the pre-market hours. If you were to go to the 4-hour chart just like this, you're going to see different, right? You're going to see a bit of a different kind of setup here. You're going to see a slightly different setup. So we can see that there's actually different kind of shadings, which would indicate the daytime, right, when the market's open from 9:30 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. Eastern. And then there's going to be the different shading, the lighter shading, when there's less volume, but that shading indicates what's going on from that after market hours all the way into the pre-market hours. So on Webull, you can trade during those hours, 4 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. You can trade during all those hours, extended hours, pre-market, after hours, regular hours. You can do it all. But there is stuff that happens during those times. And a lot of times we see right here, here's a perfect example. If you go back to even just recently, look at the stock. Stock closed up over 144. Then in the pre-market and after hours, the stock fell off. The next day, it opens up much lower than where it was. So the stock ended up coming down a couple dollars of downside, but that happened during a time frame where if we look at the daily chart, you're not going to see that. Back to that time frame, you didn't see that movement, right? So Apple on this day, on the 7th, closing up here at 144.50, right? You would expect, okay, the next day it's going to open around that point. No, because there's after hour and there's pre-market hour. So Apple ended up opening all the way down here at this 141.50. So about $3. It opened $3 lower. Then we see that hollow candle showing us that even though Apple closed the day on the 8th, about $1.25 lower than where it closed the day prior, it still has a hollow candle indicating that from the open of the market hours to the close, Apple pushed up. And that's the importance, and that's why hollow candles are very, very useful. As we scroll back in time, we can see the exact same thing happening right here with those solid candles. So take a look at the solid green. So we just showed you guys a hollow red, which was indicating that movement of upside intraday. So, you kind of have those gap downs and push ups. That's what the hollow reds are going to help you with. Now, what happens when you have a gap up and a pull down or a push down intraday? Well, that's what's going to happen with these solid greens. We're currently looking at a time frame right here where Apple was in a downtrend. So we just looked at an uptrend, and in an uptrend, you're going to generally see more hollow reds than solid reds because that's still showing the uptrend is continuing along. It's a very strong stock. Now, in a downtrend, you're going to have green days in a downtrend or green candles in a downtrend, but what are going to be more common or what's going to be a common type of green candle sometimes? Well, that could be that solid green, indicating that the stock was still down from the open to the close of that day. However, it was up compared to the prior close. So here's a perfect example. On the 6th of May, Apple goes from about 128 all the way up here to about just shy of 130 intraday. The next day it gaps up. It opens up here at 130.86 and then ends up closing the day just over 130. Now it closed higher. This close right here, indicated by the low of the body on the solid green candle right here on the 7th of May, is still higher than the close of the prior day, the close of the hollow candle. That's going to give you that green candle. That's all you need to understand when it comes to the color of the candles, but the actual intraday movement will be identified by the solid or the hollow portion of that candle. Solid means down intraday, hollow means up intraday, no matter the color. So there you guys have it. It's very, very helpful to use these candles when you're looking at trends. If we take a look at this time period right here that we've been looking at for Apple, if we go back to a regular candlestick pattern or regular candlestick chart, here's what it's going to look like. Not exactly the same. The thing with a regular candlestick chart is that if you have a red candle, it's only going to be red if the stock was down from the open to the close. So if we go back to that period right here we were just looking at the beginning, where Apple was actually down on this day, the 8th. Apple was down. It closed lower than the prior day close, but it's going to show you a green candle because intraday the stock went up from the open to the closing price. So regular candles, red opens higher than it closes. Green is going to be where it closes higher than it opens. That's all you need to know for regular candlesticks compared to hollow candles. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you need to replay it back, it would not be a bad idea to go ahead and do so. Thank you guys so much. Leave any questions, comments down below, but these are definitely much more helpful for you in your trading to identify trends, to see how strong stocks really are. And again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, hitting that thumbs up button, and checking out any of those links and resources we have in the description box down below. Again, that Webull link is to this platform right here where you can do all this stuff in one place. Thanks guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.